Hello, this is Ava Chow from Independence High School, part of Eastside Union High School District. This video will start off a whole section of videos. This is the advanced Google Classroom tutorial. One of the longest tutorials are creating Google form quizzes, mainly because it has so many options to go through. So the first part of the video of the second form is where can we create Google form quizzes. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm already in my class demo on the second tab of classwork. And if you go ahead and hit create from Google Classroom, simply it will create an assignment for you like a regular assignment with all the settings. However, it will already take a Google form and convert it into a blank quiz for you. Now, and it will give you a brand new quiz called a blank quiz. If you want to create it from here, you click on this and it will pop out another window of the actual quiz. Now you can go ahead and make modifications to what you want your quiz to be. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the quiz assignment. When you open this, automatically the default setting is to be off for here. This means locked mode on Chromebooks. Respondents will not be able to open tabs or other applications while taking the quiz. And this is for if you want additional security for your quiz. However, this only works if the students are on Chromebooks to begin with and they're on the school network for it to work. So obviously for distant learning, we won't be able to do that, so that is off. When you create a quiz assignment, Google Classroom can import grades for assignments, and this is a new feature. And you can turn it on or off over here, and it goes into your Google Classroom grade sheet. And then grades importing automatically limits each form to one response per user, collects email addresses, restricts responses users to your domain. Let's see what happens when a student is not logged into their school Gmail account. Hold up a page that I'm logged into my personal account. So when I put the publish view of the form, it won't let me view the actual form because it says you need permission. This form can be viewed by users in an owner's organization. Try contacting the owner of the form if you think this is a mistake. So students cannot take the quiz if they are not logged on to their school Gmail account. That you are going to create a quiz that is outside Google Classroom. So what you would do anywhere, typically I go to my Drive, but you can go anywhere else that you can access Google Forms. Go ahead and click on a new form. And this is a blank form, and I'm going to show you the features that we can convert it into a quiz. Go to the side menu of extra settings. You have undo, get free pre-filled link, print. This is where you can add in collaborators. So students can go ahead and create their own form and add in their collaborators, or you as a teacher can add in collaborators. The script editor, if you like programming and making your own app to add on to Google Form, this is the link for that. If you want to click on this for add-ons, there's other computer apps that other people have made to add on to forms, so you can look on that for your own. But we're going to look and focus on preferences. The default settings are that they collect email addresses, make the questions required. Now that doesn't mean that you can't unclick this. So you'll see in each question, you can decide which questions can be required or not, but by default it's turned on, and their default quiz points is value 1, just to let you know. If you want to ever change it, you can change it there. All right, this is where we're going to find quizzes. So I'm going to turn this quiz on. When I turn on this quiz, then I have the lock mode option, just like we saw previously in the quiz assignments of Google Classroom. This is about releasing the grade. When do you want, after a student takes the quiz, when do you want them to get their results? Yes, Google Forms quiz mode will correct your multiple choice and certain short answers for you, and they can add in the points. Now, any questions that Google Forms is not able to grade, you can go ahead and go back and enter in those grades for those questions, and it will populate it for the students. So, do you want to immediately submit it after the students take over the quiz? Or Do you want them to release the results of the quiz after a certain time on your own? So that would be it. I usually have this one turned on because I'll have students who were sick or they weren't able to be in class, and I'll give them some days to make it up. And after the makeup days, then I will release the quiz. So when you're releasing the quiz, what are students be able to see in that summary email? Missed questions means identify which questions were answered incorrectly. I usually have that turned on so they know which ones they missed. So in my class, they do test or quiz corrections for extra credit. For the correct answers, what does that mean? Correct answers show the correct answer for each question after grades are released. And I usually have this turned off because I want them to be able on their own figure out what the correct answer rather than looking at someone else's quiz. Point values are usually turned on. Show total points and points received for each question. So that's a good one to have on. I can look at the other options. For presentation, show link to submit another response. This is a default form. So since we're making this into a quiz, we're going to unclick that. If you want to show the students how far are they going, how much more they have, you can turn that on. This option, shuffle question order, is wonderful. This is kind of like back in the old days when you're creating a Form A or a Form B. What it does randomly for the students on the front end when they're taking the quiz, they are shuffling the order of the questions. They won't be able to change the number of the questions to show that it is in technical order, but it does make it more difficult if students are trying to compare whose answer is what, if you're worried about that. So shuffling makes it a little bit more difficult. And then once they submit a quiz, this is the confirmation message. This is with the default. You can change that if you like. Let's go back to general, to the top part here. For general, because it is a quiz, they collect email address, response receipts, like students want response to their quiz. I usually have that checked off because you want to be able to regulate when you want to return the quiz with their results. Once I turn the quiz function on here, this is checkmarked. The other stuff are usually default settings, but this was unchecked before. But since I turned on quiz, it restricts users to our organization. You also could limit it to one response. You can uncheck this and it'll allow students to retake it if you have the quiz still open. So that's up to you when you want to do that. Respondents can edit after submit. I don't have that on because it's a quiz, and I don't have them see the summary charts and text responses. But then again, I'm talking about quiz mode. So even if you use this form for other things, you can tailor it to what you need. And go ahead and press save. Those are the settings, or make this Google form a quiz.